That's a lot of nuts!
For better or for worse, I find myself talking about a lot of YouTubers here on my YouTube channel. Anytime there's some sort of drama or I make an offhanded reference to somebody that I think has millions of subscribers and has done hundreds of millions of views that everybody has heard about, I will still get comments along the lines of, Sumet, I've been watching YouTube for 15 years and this thing that you're talking about is the first I've ever heard of this person. And to a certain extent, I find that unacceptable. My YouTube channel is not an intro-level college course. You can't show up and watch my videos without any idea of the history that goes on this website. And so I find myself in the position of having to educate you guys on some of the most interesting YouTubers, big name people that I think are crucial to even be able to appreciate YouTube. And so today I'm gonna share some of my favorites with you. Classic YouTubers. These are people that are a little bit uncategorized, but the category that I consider them are people that I will refer to. And if you go, I've never heard of that YouTuber, I'll give you a look like, do you not watch YouTube? How have you never heard of this person? They're huge or important, or they did that giant video. Surely you know of these people. Every Frame a Painting. I would argue this is the best YouTube channel in the history of YouTube channels. Their YouTube catalog is the equivalent of a no-skip album. These guys did not upload a video that isn't worth your time to watch, and every single one of them is banger after banger after banger. Every Frame a Painting is a YouTube channel that took place many, many years ago and is now defunct. It was run by, I believe, a husband and wife filmography editing team that took a look at some of the more nuanced features in films. And they did it in a way that was so incredibly captivating. They would edit together exactly the thing that they were talking about as they were explaining the genius in some of their favorite movies, and showcase this in a manner that very much befitted the channel name, that every frame is a painting, that every little aspect of some of these movies that they talked about is something that is to be admired, and they showcase some of the tremendous amount of work that goes into making it. And not only is it an engaging watch, something that you could definitely sit down and spend several hours just enjoying yourself, but it's also a great thing for YouTubers, content creators to take a look at, to be able to appreciate the larger scope of the art form that is making videos. Jay Foreman. I am sure you are probably not expecting me to tell you that somebody who makes videos talking about the history of maps is worth your time to watch. But you gotta trust me on this one. This dude does it in such an incredible way that it's up there with some of the most general, like, you should know Jay Foreman way before you know Mr. Beast, in my opinion. Jay Foreman has been making videos for the better part of like 15 years or more. He has a background in making music and entertainment. I think he used to do stand-up comedy and toured around his country and did shows. But the thing that I know him best for, and I imagine most people know him best for, is a series on his YouTube channel called Map Men, where a combination of the history of maps, how they came to be, what caused them to be the way that they are, mixed in with a tremendous amount of beautiful, dry British humor, makes it some of the most entertaining videos to date. He's got dozens and dozens examples of it on his channel, and he still continues to make Map Men episodes to this day. If you're not watching Jay Foreman, then I think you might be dumb for man. Joseph Anderson. Joseph Anderson is somebody who does video game analysis and critique videos, although he himself has also stated that he doesn't really consider them critiques in the traditional manner. Rather, it's more so a walkthrough of the story of video games that he takes a look at, as well as an intriguing look into the sophistication of their mechanics, their lore, the way that they go about doing what they're doing, and the way that the story unfolds. Despite the fact that he starts most of his videos telling you that you should play the game yourself before watching them, I, and I imagine millions of other people, watch his videos as a way to experience a video game without having to actually play it. And Joseph Anderson, being the person that he is, doing the research into the development of games and the application of different mechanics and the way that they do things in a way that makes them unique compared to other video games, is something that stupid old Sumito wouldn't necessarily notice when playing through something. So I appreciate having somebody explain it to dumb old me. He is most known for his lengthy analyses of like trilogies and series like The Witcher and Just Cause and Dark Souls, and his ability to play through the game and talk not only about the story, but also about the way that these games are designed in their game design to be able to teach you how to play them, to be able to use their weapons. What he thinks is good game design and bad game design makes it a lot more than just watching somebody play a video game. It's something that you really gotta watch to appreciate, but when you do, you'll appreciate it. Jim Can't Swim, probably better known as JCS Criminal Psychology. It feels like the stupidest example for me to share with somebody with the anticipation that you might not know who this is, but I gotta treat this whole video like you haven't heard of any of these channels. But like seriously, do you not know who Jim Can't Swim is? Most known for his tremendously long videos analyzing police interviews and interrogations with criminals and breaking down the psychology of how these people act. It's very much a look into the demented minds of people who have psychopathic tendencies and are just genuine like murderers and what have you, and breaking down the nuances in their speech patterns, their mannerisms, while also slowly unfolding the crimes that they committed and the things that they say in the interview that give away the fact that they are guilty or very much did do the thing they're denying. It's got a true crime aspect to most of their videos, but it's very much psychology driven. JCS Criminal Psychology blew up tremendously with their videos on what pretending to be crazy looks like, Jennifer's Solution, and many others about actual psychopaths, and the stories basically told by the person themselves in police interviews. Like, it's kind of like the documentary Senna, where there isn't so much a narrator, but the story is kind of told by the person that it's about. And so it's really like in the editing and the way that everything is put together that it explains it to you. It's very beautifully done. Jim Can't Swim has bumped into a tremendous amount of issues on YouTube. The insane popularity of their videos has very much turned it into a red flag situation for YouTube. YouTube doesn't really seem to like that these psychopaths, very famous serial killers and what have you, are like the talk of the town every time that he uploads alongside a number of other issues. It seems as though the channel may be defunct at this point. A lot of the videos have been unlisted. You have to sort of look around on the web to see some of the entirety of their catalog because the videos aren't all on their YouTube anymore. And according to some posts on their subreddit, there seems to be some sort of issue with the team that puts together these videos. The people that are putting it together no longer find it useful or no longer find it worth their time to put up these videos because they keep bumping into issues where they get demonetized, taken down, copyright struck, or what have you. Very unfortunate situation for a channel that is really, really cool. Check it out while you still can. Internet history. These are YouTubers that I like to watch that break down parts of the internet that I personally find really interesting because I didn't necessarily get to experience it for myself. Being somebody in the space that I'm in, I very much feel a sense of like imposter syndrome anytime somebody talks about an event that happened on the internet or a big meme or a video game from their childhood that I don't know anything about. And so I really appreciate people who take the time to share aspects of the internet that they find interesting or are experts in for people like me who may have necessarily missed it in my time. Izzy's is one of my favorite YouTubers of all time. I love her so much. She does internet history, but specifically taking a look at like early 2000s Tumblr, DeviantArt, fan scripts levels of the internet. It's very much a part of the internet that I didn't partake in very much, not by choice. I feel like I just missed out on that era of YouTube. So watching her do these lengthy video essays, breaking down things like the Warrior Cats fandom, or the lore of The Sims 3, or Animal Crossing, and all of these things that I know have massive fan bases, but don't know very much about, Izzy's does a fantastic job taking a look at the popularity, the rise and fall, the lore behind, the fandoms within these things that I can only sort of remember from 10, 15 years ago. And it's just, I feel like she does such a great job of cataloging these bits of the internet that might otherwise be forgotten if you didn't take the time to take a look at what the internet was like in the early 2000s. She has significantly better editing than I do, so if you guys find me boring, don't worry. She does a much better job of retaining your attention by having more graphics and things on screen. And the fact that she goes out of her way to put together a really nice, unique makeup look and accessories for every single video that she does just feels like she puts so much effort into the videos. To be honest, discovering the fact that she does a different makeup look, an entire outfit for every single video she does, is the reason that I started putting a slightly more effort into wearing a nice shirt and having something interesting to look at other than my stupid face in my own videos. So, you know, game recognizes game. Internet historian. There is no way you need me to explain this. It is in his name. Justin Wang is somebody who has been uploading videos for much longer than I have, and yet is only somebody that I really started watching videos of, like, very recently. He covers things on the internet and pop culture and lost media, and he specifically takes a look at things that have a little bit more macabre vibe to them. Things that are about people dying, things that are about snuff films, things that are overly gross, and just pieces of lore of the internet that have a darker tinge to it. He doesn't shy away from topics that might get his videos demonetized. In fact, he basically specifically does videos that he probably isn't gonna make any money on, and that's something to be respected, I think. Scumbagovich is a content creator that I discovered just a few weeks ago, who I think has only been making videos for a couple of months, and yet still her content is fantastic. She takes a look at internet history, but specifically artworks that have been commissioned by people or have existed on the internet for a while that have some more lore behind them, and explores the creation of things like fetish art, very famous memes. Her most recent video that has been blowing up lately is the freaky origin of the limbless anime girl, which I think is very interesting because I think everybody knows this picture of this anime girl with no limbs, and you've seen it captioned with things like, "me after not having a tasty snack." And yet I've never really thought about where images like that come from. And yet here she is, showing up, doing the research, putting together a nicely put together video to explain to you, typically, the disgusting backstory of how the man who wanted to be a diaper commissioned different artworks of him being transformed into a dirty diaper. And it's good stuff. Speedrunning and gaming is a category that is very close to my heart, being one of the hobbies that I feel like I have had longer than I can even remember anything else that I've done in my life. So it's very important to me to take a look at some of the people that make fantastic gaming content and speedrunning content. And this is very much a category that I think isn't going to be people that you necessarily know. These aren't the big three of any given category. These are some people that I personally enjoy. First up is The Rixer. This is a content creator who I discovered when taking a look at Sly Cooper speedruns, Sly Cooper obviously being one of my favorite games of all time. And he does a fantastic job in not only taking a look at speedruns and explaining them, which is what I think most people do when they make YouTube videos about speedruns, is explaining the tricks and what have you, but rather taking a look at the history of where those tricks came from. He does an excellent job of taking a look at games that have very intricate speedrunning tech in them, and then breaking down how 10 years ago we used to do it this way. And then we discovered this trick that allowed us to do this new thing, but nobody knew if it was useful at all. And then 2 years later, there was a brand new world record with the trick that they discovered 2 years earlier. And I find that the cataloging of this many pieces of information about such niche community of speedrunning a specific game is something that can only be done by somebody who's done a ton of research or was in the community when doing it. Around Halloween, he typically does a video breaking down the Silent Hill games and the speedruns in them. This is actually how I discovered all the lore and history about Silent Hill myself, as somebody who can't bring himself to play horror games. And so I have a tremendous amount of appreciation for him sharing that with me. I would highly recommend taking a look at his Silent Hill videos just because I think they're cool. But honestly, if you're gonna watch one video by him, the ultimate roulette of speedrunning, breaking down the incredibly difficult speedrun that is this old Yu-Gi-Oh game. I'm forgetting what it's called. I think it's Forbidden Memories. That's the one you should watch if you want to get introduced to his channel, in my opinion. Easyscape was my favorite speedrunning channel and probably the biggest channel that got me into taking a look at speedruns of video games to this date. It isn't something that gets updated very often now. I think he's sort of finding his rhythm and what he wants to upload to his channel. But if you sort his channel by his most popular videos, the things that I discovered about him and his most popular videos to date are the top 10 hardest, fastest, longest speedruns. And they're fantastic watches from somebody who's in the community and knows what he's talking about. You can take a look at something like the 10 longest speedruns of all time, and you can already imagine how much of an interesting watch it is to take a look at something like people who are trying to beat a game as fast as possible in a category where the game takes 32 hours to finish at any reasonable pace. He is actually the person who I sort of parodied and got inspiration from when I did my video about the top 10 American dad speedruns. His channel was the one that I was sort of paying homage to when I did that video, so obviously very near and dear to my heart. Again, I don't think he makes very many top 10 speedrunning videos anymore because he's working on a lot of other projects, but check out his top videos if you get the chance. Worm Girl is a content creator who I discovered after looking into the video game Fear and Hunger, a very brutal and explicit, difficult RPG game that is filled to the teeth with a tremendous amount of lore and storytelling, very much like Dark Souls, where you kind of only discover these things through playing the game itself. And she has these fantastic videos explaining the lore of Fear and Hunger 1 and Fear and Hunger 2. They are like 45 minutes to an hour long. I haven't played the game myself. You guys know I don't do horror, even though they're not really like jump scary or anything. But even still, watching her videos break down the lore and the stories of exactly what happened in these games is absolutely fascinating. Definitely check out those two videos specifically, but she has a ton of other things taking a look at games like Lisa the Painful and a number of other things in that same genre. Picaspray Yellow is a content creator that I discovered when taking a look at Pokemon challenge runs. I was looking up videos of people beating the entire game using nothing but like a Rattata or like a Ditto or something, and he had made a few videos on that, and those are fantastic watches if you want to see that. But the thing that I think Picaspray Yellow does very well is a series called Soft Lock Picking, which is a great name, by the way. It's soft lock and then lock picking. But basically, he takes Pokemon games and a few other games like Castlevania and what have you, and shows you how to play these old games and set up the file in a way that makes it impossible to play any further. The idea is like you throw away all your items, you get locked with only a level 100 Pokemon that only knows self-destruct, and then throws you into like Cinnabar Island or something, where if you gave the game to somebody and went, hey, do you want a level 100, I don't know, Gyarados or whatever? Here you go. And then they play the file and discover that there is nothing that they can do. And he's done this for a number of different Pokemon games. He's also done some great challenge runs, but the entire concept of soft locking a Pokemon game using the exploits in the game itself and explaining the mechanics that lead him to be able to do so, it's nerd shit. 100% it's nerd shit, but I'm into that. I will be honest, I completely forgot that this video was supposed to be just examples of YouTubers that I think you need to watch as a foundation, and more so just I kind of got excited in just sharing with you guys some of my favorite content creators on the platform. So sorry, but everybody that I mentioned will be linked down in the description, so you can just click on that and take a look at anything that you thought was interesting. And please, down in the comments, now that you know what I enjoy watching, let me know examples of other content creators that you think I should check out, or just any content creators that you guys enjoy watching. I feel like YouTube, as big as it is, it's very easy to get lost in, so, you know, if you got some guys that you think make good stuff, let everybody know down in the comments. Remember to hit the subscribe button. I make videos every day, and I'll be happy to see you guys in tomorrow's video. It's right next to the like button. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And a big shout out to the patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.